Hi guys, welcome to a pick a pile reading. It's so lovely to be here with you guys. I haven't filmed one of these in a while. It's just been like situation after situation, or sickness and my child and this and that and the other. Everything's kind of been popping up lately, but that is okay. Everything happens for a reason. But here I am filming for you guys today, and this topic is predictions for the upcoming month. So I will be posting this either on the 31st of August or the 1st of September, so it can be for the month of September 2022. But if you're coming across this reading at any other stage beyond that, or even midway through September, we will be referring to it as the upcoming month or the month ahead. So it is a timeless reading. It can resonate anytime that you come across it, because I do believe that messages find you when the time is right. And we will be covering various information about the upcoming month, including the biggest or the main blessing of the month ahead, the biggest or the main challenge of the month ahead, the main or most important advice for the month ahead. We're also going to be shuffling to look at who is the most significant person in the month ahead for you. And then we're going to sign off the reading with a quick love prediction for singles and for those in relationships for each group. So a lot is going to be covered, and there's a lot of information that's come through, so I'm really excited to do this for you today. I'll show you the crystals up close, and then you can pause if you need to decide which group is for you. Remember, it's not always the one that we think is the prettiest or the nicest. We do need to tune into our intuitive space and feel which crystal is sort of it's like a deeper pull that's like, I need to read that group, you know? So this is group 1. This came in a mystery box. If I had to guess, and it would really be a guess, it looks a little bit like lavender amethyst, but I could be wrong, so I don't want to speculate. But beautiful nonetheless. That's group 1. Group 2 have the selenite. It's like a glowy kind of texture. It's really cool. This is a great crystal to manifest with, and it's also a great crystal for like cleansing your decks and stuff like that. Group 3, you have the rose quartz. All right, so if you need a pause and take a moment to feel which group's pulling you in, feel free to do so. If you are enjoying the subtle background music, it's an aura protection and grounding frequency from Inner Lotus Music, and I've linked it in the description box below so that you can use it for yourself if you like. And it's also going to keep us both protected and grounded throughout the messages. I feel like there was one other thing that I wanted to say. If you want a private reading with me, or if you're interested in any of my other work, my Instagram details are in the description box below as well. I post weekly horoscopes over there, various mini pick-a-piles, like written versions of this, just in like a smaller format, and sometimes other stuff as well. And that's also where my services, pricing, etc. is listed, and you can book with me via DMs at this stage. I have a couple of spots left for September 2022 at the time that I'm filming, but they may not last long, but hit me up if you would like to book. But otherwise, guys, I'll see you over in your group. Hi group 1, welcome to your September or upcoming month reading. So depending on where you're watching this, or when you're watching this I should say, this could relate to the month of September 2022, or if you're watching it or you've come across it beyond then, we are referring to it as the month ahead or the upcoming month throughout the reading. So at any time it finds you, it can relate to you. So just a quick recap, this is the crystal that you have chosen. and we'll start looking into the upcoming month for you guys. So if you didn't watch the intro, we're going to be checking out the main blessing of the month, the main challenge, the main advice for the month, the main person of the month, and then we're going to get a quick love message for the singles of this group as well as the relationship people of this group. Relationship people. Yes. A quick message for those in relationships is probably the better way to put that, I think. So I've basically pre-pulled some cards for everything except for the main person of the month. We're going to shuffle and do that on camera. Just, to do something on camera. But we have pulled cards for everything else. So the first topic here with these 3 cards is the main blessing of your month. So we have here spring, the 4 of forces, we have community, the 8 of roses, and then on the bottom of the deck we had the 1 of scrolls on track. So immediately there's a picture here, especially with spring. Spring makes me think of like flowers blooming, growing, blossoming. And then looking at community here, it feels like there's like the blossoming of a new friendship or a new community. Oh my God, I'm tripping over my words here. Community. So it feels like if you already have a group or a community or a circle or a team or a close-knit community, then it feels like it's going to get closer. It's going to get, even more tight-knit, I suppose you could say. Like it's going to grow even more and blossom even more. Otherwise, this could even be a new relationship that's coming into your life. And it could be any type of relationship. It could be a new friend, a new colleague, a new business partner, a new love interest. But it would indicate that there could be like a particular bond that's growing or something like that, because we do have the number 1 here on the bottom of the deck, which to me is like a new beginning or a new start. So there could be a new person entering your life that is going to be a very fruitful relationship. It's going to be a lot of growth, and it's going to be it feels like it's very aligned with on track. It feels like it's something that's on track to success is what's kind of coming through to me with that. So we might pull a couple of clarifiers and we'll see if we can figure out what type of relationship this is. Because again, this could be like an existing group of people that you hang out with or see or talk to quite regularly that's going to start spending a lot more time together, or there's going to be like new growth or new plans, new ideas, new something. But we'll have a quick look. I also want to say that this card over here can be representative of a time where your creative juices are really flowing. So you might have like a really creative month. All right, so tell us a little bit more about this blessing for the month ahead for group 1. Let's clarify the 8 of roses, please. Where did it go? What the? Okay, so that was hiding. And I'm going to put it back because I feel like maybe I wasn't supposed to get it. It'll come back out if it's meant to, but I feel like it was hiding for a reason. Let's clarify that 8 of Roses, please. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Is this the right deck? Maybe I'm not using the right deck. It's spitting everything back at me. Okay, so I'm being told to actually clarify with the same deck that we're already using. Okay, so clarifying for group 1's upcoming month. We're currently on the blessing for the month and we would like to clarify what we have here. Can we find out more about the 8 of Roses? What exactly in group 1's community is growing? Okay, so we have the 3 of Roses coming out in the reverse position. And the Queen of Scrolls in the reverse position. And the Light of the World. Okay, so what this is actually telling me here is that it seems like in terms of like community and relationships and people in general, connection in general, it feels like you've kind of disconnected from that social element or that connecting element of yourself that likes to connect with other people, that likes to socialize, that likes to be out connecting with others. And yeah, like socializing in general, it feels like you're quite an introverted person who kind of sticks more to yourself and doesn't maybe go out that often. But it feels like with here, with the Light of the World, this is about like spirit trying to knock on your door and bring you out of this space you're in and like lead you somewhere or take you somewhere. So it feels like maybe there's been something ready to grow in this area of your life for a little bit, and it's just been kind of like waiting for you to get on that train, you know, like it feels like spirit's like knock knock knock, here I've got this perfect what would you call this, this perfect opportunity for you. All we need you to do is just jump on board. But for some reason you're not listening to that call, or you're not hearing that call, or you're just someone that sticks more to yourself. So it feels like I am speaking to a lot of singles, but if you're in a relationship, this would kind of tell me that maybe you are looking to grow deeper friendships, so like not such surface level friendships, like really deep friendships with deep connections, you know, someone maybe that doesn't like small talk, or you know, just going out and partying. It's like you want more connection than that, like soul connection, soul friendships. And it feels like in order to do that, spirit's trying to get your attention and trying to tell you which way to go, or like a pathway to take, or trying to give you some sort of opportunity to meet like-minded or like-souled people, but you're missing that call. So it feels like in the upcoming month, your part in this is to really tune into your intuition, and if it's leading you somewhere or if it's pulling you somewhere, you're guided to just jump on board, even if it doesn't make sense, because it could be leading you to something or someone. So I feel like this is kind of like advice, but it's not really narrowing anything down about who you're going to meet. So perhaps it's a little bit different for everybody. For some it might be like a member of your soul tribe, for some it might be a soulmate, for some it might be a new business associate, but it feels like you need to be willing to come out of your shell and really put yourself out there, have fun, socialize. Don't be all work and no play. Sometimes the Queen of Scrolls in reverse can be someone who maybe like throws themselves into what they do, or they overwork themselves, or they are lacking that balance in their life. So I think creating a healthy work-life balance is going to be very important for the upcoming month as well. But you're definitely being led to something that's like divinely orchestrated, like it's really meant to be. The light of the world doesn't just lead you anywhere, and then with on track right above it, it's leading you to something important. So it's something that's very destined to be on your path at this point. So your main blessing of the month ahead for you is like new friendships or growth in existing friendships, growth in connections, new beginnings in your connections, in your community. But your part in the matter is like putting yourself out there, opening yourself up to it, creating a good enough balance to be getting out enough, and coming out of your shell. All right, so let me take a quick drink before we move on to the main challenge of the month. Okay, so the main challenge of the month, number 33 in the reverse, door to romance. And I'm laughing because it's kind of like relating to what we have up here in the advice that we just got. So maybe I could have skipped past this and just gone straight into this. We have the Angel of Strength in reverse, number 50. And we have a woman holding a coin in the reverse. Okay, so it feels like your biggest challenge this month is not shutting the doors to romance and connection and overworking yourself. It definitely feels like the advice we just got was just about to come out. So I probably didn't need to do the clarifying, but that's okay. It just means that in order to kind of like, I guess, tap into this blessing, you need to make sure that you don't succumb to this challenge. So overcoming this challenge is kind of like the secret to unlocking this blessing. So this row here is about finding a better balance. It's about making sure that if you're looking for love, it's about making sure that you're open to it and you're creating opportunities to find it. If you're in a relationship, it's about finding time to prioritize your partner and prioritize romance, and not be overworking yourself to the point where you're too exhausted in your downtime to have that romantic time with your partner. This is really about a work-life balance, but not so much just in life. It's about, I guess, work and relationships. So the relationships that are important to you, the ones that you're already trying to foster, as well as the ones that you wish to attract. And even the relationship with yourself, making sure that you're getting centered enough to create this balance around you. So you may have sort of workaholic tendencies, or there could even be like an anxiety or like some sort of anxiety around finances that's driving that behavior. So maybe you need to address that if that resonates. But I also want to just say that I'm picking up that there could be a few people here. If you're experiencing blockages in your love life, it feels like there's a mother figure or parent figure that you maybe need to forgive, because it feels like their energy somehow impacts your love life. So take that if it resonates, but leave it if it doesn't. But that is something that I just picked up there as well. Is there anything else that I'm seeing here? Yeah, I feel like singles, you need to be open to connection, and creating opportunities to meet people, or if you are around people, it's about not being too closed off, making sure that you're being open, even with your body language and your eye contact and things like that, making sure that you are being expressive and not being too cold or detached. I also just noticed we have a 333 right next to each other. So maybe you may see the number 333 following this reading, or you have been seeing 333, and that's like a confirmation that this is for you. But yeah, I think your biggest challenge is being open and taking initiative and prioritizing the connections that matter to you, as well as the connections that you're trying to attract. All right, so the next thing we're going to go to is your main advice for the month, and then we'll do the main person of the month, and then these cards here are the quick singles and quick relationship message for the month. So I'll just move those up a little bit. All right, so we have the new moon in Cancer. You and your loved ones are safe. We have new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. And we have communication is key, new moon in Gemini. So you have 3 new moon cards, which is definitely clarifying that there is some sort of new beginning or new relationship coming into your life, but you do have to meet it halfway and make sure that you're putting yourself out there. You know, you've got to do some of the work too for it to pay off. I think that you need to work on feeling safe in yourself, as well as having faith in your intuition, in order to, because what I'm kind of picking up here is like someone who's been scarred in the past when it comes to connections, and I guess a subconscious or even conscious fear exists within you where you feel unsafe when you do put yourself out there or when you are connecting with other people. This is a reminder to you that you are safe. You and your loved ones are safe. And I feel like this reminder is important so that you do come out of your shell and you don't go into something so defensive or ready to defend yourself if you need to, like this crab. So he's obviously underneath a complete shell of armor, and we were talking up here actually about coming out of your shell. Spirits wanting you to come out of your shell. They're knocking on the door, trying to bring you out or take you down a path, and you're staying inside that safety net. So I feel like this is about feeling comfortable enough to come out of your shell and do the work you need to do to attract the relationship that you're looking for, whether it's a friendship, a business partnership, a soulmate, or otherwise. You've got to meet it halfway and do the work. I also feel like looking at this card on its own, seeing as we were picking up some of those workaholic tendencies, I feel like All of the work you are doing is starting to pay off, and I don't feel like it's asking you to like take your foot off the gas, but I just feel like it's letting you know that you don't have to be on the treadmill 24/7. It's okay to take a break and nourish yourself and return to that work when you've got a full cup. I feel like it's letting you know that it's not going to be a total detriment for you to take some time to yourself and to foster the relationships around you. This card can also be about, in terms of really literal advice, it can be about like starting a 12-month plan. So if you have certain goals or certain things that you want to achieve, or even a financial plan, like get really serious and create a 12-month plan. Like, where do you want to be in 12 months, or where do you want to be in 5 years? And then start creating like a strategy or a plan to get there. Write it down, get really practical about it. And that will really benefit you at this time. And because it's a new moon in Capricorn card, it feels like it's time for that new intention to be set. So when you write it all down and you write down that plan, it's kind of like the perfect time to start it and implement it for you. With the new moon in Gemini card, as it says here, communication is key. This is a card about recognizing that successful relationships come down to communication. So if you're in a relationship, it feels like there's a lot of communication to be had around everything that we've been discussing about, the closeness, the prioritization of the relationship. Is it balanced? Is it imbalanced? Is there enough romance? Are you too exhausted for romance? Are you working too much to have time for romance? Things like that. Just making sure that things are getting balanced. Both parties are communicating their needs, their desires, and focusing on compromising to get those needs met. And then if you're single, it feels as though there's definitely someone coming in for you that's quite important. And even if you're not single, it could just be a friend. But in terms of singles, it feels like there's definitely someone here. And communication's the key. So you need to make sure that you're taking the time to communicate. You're putting in the effort to communicate. You're coming out of your shell. You're being open. You're being receptive. And you're, I guess, taking the time maybe to get to know someone. This card literally has a meaning in the guidebook that says someone's flirting with you. So I feel like you need to open up your eyes and just sort of like look for those signs and subtle cues when you're talking to people, because there is someone that's flirting with you and maybe you're not quite noticing. And maybe that's the opportunity that you're missing. Like, you're not jumping on that train, you're not jumping on that person's bandwagon. So if you are receptive, I think that you'll notice that there is someone that's flirting with you or trying to get your attention in some way. So keep your eyes out, singles. But then if you're in a relationship, there could be someone that is trying to get your attention in some way, but maybe it's not so much in a flirting manner. Maybe it's more of like trying to be your friend, or they've noticed that you guys have similar interests and they want to get to know you or something like that, but you're not receptive to new people, or you're not trusting of new people, or something along those lines. But that's what I'm picking up there. Let me grab another quick drink. Getting parched once again. All right, so we are going to do a little bit of shuffling now. Every day I'm shuffling. No, not that kind of shuffling. We are going to shuffle some cards, and we're going to try and find out the main person of your month. So I'm a little bit undecided whether to use the astrology deck or the guardian angel messages. Let me start here. Who is the most significant person in Group 1's upcoming month, please? Okay, so we have Virgo coming out first, so there could be a significant Virgo in your life. Otherwise, this could be someone connected to your routines, because Virgo can be a sign of routine and even health and wellness. So like maybe someone that you go to the gym with, or someone that you someone that gives you nutritional advice, or someone connected to like your health and wellness routines. Let's see what else we get. Try and get a few different options for a few different sort of collectives within the collective. We have Mars energy here. So Mars could be representing an Aries or possibly even a Scorpio. Could even be a Virgo Mars. If you know someone that has their Mars placement in the sign of Virgo, it's funny, I actually have a Virgo Mars. But otherwise, yeah, so in terms of like actual just signs and, you know, sun, moon, rising placements, so far we can see Virgo, Aries and Scorpio. But then if you know specific charts, a Virgo Mars seems to be very significant. And we also have a Taurus card coming out. So with Taurus and Virgo, thinking routines and like finances, so even work, part of your work routine, someone in your work routine or someone that you're going to work with, especially with Mars there. Mars is like action and aggression and, you know, like masculine sort of action-oriented energy. So it could be like a Virgo and a Taurus teaming up on something, or it could be just, yeah, like you taking action with this person in like a business endeavor or a health and wellness endeavor. Could even be like a coach, life coach or spiritual coach or something along those lines. Or you could be like planning something, you know, you could be a Virgo and the other person could be a Taurus and you could be planning something or something along those lines. And then I guess I'll just pull a couple of these and see if I can find anything else out about the main person of the month for group 1. Who's the main person in the upcoming month for group 1, please? Okay, so we have justice coming out, fairness, the law, and karma. So we do have the number 8 here. So they could be born in the 8th month, or they could be born on the 8th of any month. They could even be like a life path 8. Justice card is the sign of Libra, so they could even be a Libra sign. But this would be someone that's very honest, very fair, and they could be like your good karma, or like, you know, something in return for all of the hard work and effort and good that you've been putting out there. Like this could be like your good karma for that, if I'm making sense. It could even be someone who is somewhat of like a guardian angel with the angel wings that I'm seeing. It could be someone that comes in and helps you find a better balance, or someone that helps you balance everything you have on your plate. Libra is making me think of the 7th house of partnerships. So, you know, your partner, if you have a partner, could be very significant, or you could have a partner coming in. But that's what I'm seeing. We also have the 7 of water on the bottom of the deck, which can be options and choices. So you could even, if you're single, you could have, maybe we could be weighing up 2 people, a Virgo and a Taurus maybe, or a Virgo Mars and a Taurus Mars, who knows. But you could be weighing up options. And then if it's in terms of relationship, it could be someone that you're balancing out your relationship with, which is a lot of what your reading had to do with actually. But to end the messages that we're getting today, we're going to have a quick look at the singles love message for the month and the relationship love message for the month. So singles, you have number 2, listen. That's interesting actually, because I'm sure that I was talking before about like, you know, your body language and being open, making eye contact, really showing your interest and not being too closed off or guarded or cold. And this card is literally about, like really tuning in when someone's speaking, really paying attention, not thinking about what you're going to say next, just being present for that person. Instead of trying to like steer the conversation, it's about sort of like listening more. And then while you're listening, it's about paying attention to the other person's like body language and signs and cues. And it's interesting because I got the message also with this card that there's someone flirting with you, and we do have these messages like someone is trying to get your attention. So it feels like if you are more present, if you're giving more eye contact and you're really tuning in, I feel like you will know who this person is. And you will start to pick up on the cues or the hints or the body language or the traits or whatever they're doing, that's giving off some sort of indication, whether that's flirting or platonic or otherwise in your situation. I think it's about really tuning into those and listening to more than just the words, but everything else as well. And then the relationship message, you guys had 2 cards come out, and they made a lot of sense, so I took them both. So you have number 1, love abounds, and you have number 2, find balance, which definitely sums up everything that we've been saying. There's definitely a new beginning and a lot more love to be felt, received, expressed, and even accepted from your other half. It all just comes from finding a better balance. So it does seem like your relationship or your connection needs prioritizing. So for argument's sake, let's say you have kids. This is about doing what you can to get time away to prioritize romance, connection, pleasure, those things that your relationship needs and deserves. That's what's really going to open up, new amounts of love, new depths of emotion. It might even renew the connection if things have been a bit dull or if you've been neglecting it a little bit lately. If you've just been working really, really hard, it's about trying to find some time to take some time off, or, allocating even, 40 minutes, 30 minutes before bed or before you guys go to sleep to just connect in different ways. But it definitely feels like the connection needs to be prioritized more. And in doing so, whole new levels of love and emotion can be felt. So if you're worried about the connection, I think that that's a good sign that you don't need to worry, but there is something that you need to do or something that can be done to improve the connection. So it's just recognizing that, being aware of it, and then doing what you need to do, as well as your partner doing what they need to do, to focus on the love again. Yes, so I think that is where I'm done. So that is your reading or your prediction or your message even for the upcoming month, for whenever you're watching. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that the messages have resonated with you. However, obviously, sometimes the messages may not resonate when we're doing a future reading, but maybe you're starting to get subtle energies of this kind of appear. And it's starting to make sense. But yeah, hopefully you found this helpful. Until next time, guys, stay safe if you don't mind, or if you feel like doing so. If you don't mind giving this a like or a comment or sharing it with your friends, whatever you would like to do to help the channel grow. But if not, that's totally cool. Don't forget that my info down below in the description box can take you to my Instagram page, which is where I post weekly horoscopes and various mini picker piles. So when I'm not having time for filming and things like that, you can check that page out for kind of like interim messages. But yeah, stay safe, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi Group 2, welcome to your predictions reading for the upcoming month. So if you're watching quite close to the time that this reading is being posted, it can be for the month of September 2022. but it is a timeless reading. So anytime you're watching it, it can be for the next, say, 30 days. And we're going to get some information about what's going on in the next month for you. So we're going to be getting the main blessing of the month. We're going to get the main challenge of the month, your main advice for the month. We're also going to shuffle a few cards on camera to get the main person of the month. And we're going to finish the reading off with a quick love message for singles and a quick love message for those of you that are watching this pile in relationships. So we do have quite a bit to cover. I have pre-pulled most of the cards, but we will shuffle a few on camera. To recap, if you chose group 2, you've chosen this gorgeous piece of selenite. So we'll pop her out there and we will start getting into some of your messages. So we're going to start with these 3 here, and these are the cards that we have for your main blessing of the upcoming month. So okay, we have Archangel Raphael in the reverse position. It's a number 8 there. We have the King of Forces here. And then we had the 5 of Scrolls, diversity. Okay. So it feels as though the upcoming month is blessing you with a chance to really diversify and make a lot of change in your life. So when I look at the King of Forces here, I notice that he's looking directly to this card, and here we have a person here with like an open book, as if they want you to read something or know something, and it feels like it could very well be, because this card is more about like energy, nature, earth. So maybe your energy, like your soul, is being pulled in this direction that's quite different to the path that you've been on. And this is opening you up to, like, it feels like it's opening you up to different timelines, different experiences. It could be something very different to what you've been doing with your life up until now. And it could be a very like a very diverse path for you to take, but it does feel like you're being pulled or compelled to go in a certain direction. That's the first thing that I'm seeing here. With Archangel Raphael here in the reverse position, this is a card that would imply that there's a situation that's being given the opportunity to heal in the upcoming month as well. It could be emotional, it could be physical, or it could be, well, anything really, but it would indicate that this is making me feel like there's like angelic help. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But this is making me feel like there's like angelic help coming through to heal or close out a situation. But again, it's still kind of giving me that change of direction energy, because here we have Archangel Raphael moving in one direction, and then it's like a change, like being compelled to go in a different direction. So I still feel like there's some sort of big change that's luring you or compelling you this month. And the reason it's a blessing is because it will be a very blessed path. But it feels like perhaps you need to either heal a wound that's like sort of cemented a certain belief into your subconscious that maybe created a fear of change or a fear of the unknown. Or there's just like an emotional wound that's sort of preventing you from taking that next step. So I might pull a couple of clarifiers here to see what else we can find out about this, but it does feel like you're kind of coming into a month where it's really time for you to like close out previous cycles and sort of step into your true power and be confident enough to open up to these changes and these new pathways that are sort of presenting themselves to you. Some of these pathways, because of the King of Forces, I know that he can be related to like nature, earth sciences, energy, what else, like geology, things like that, even maybe a more spiritual path, like connecting with energies or nature or even animals or something like that. But there's some sort of like alternative or diverse path coming up for you. And it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to learn new things. It's an opportunity to meet new people. It's an opportunity to I guess, explore new experiences. So it can be a little bit scary, but if you're confident enough to kind of like put yourself out there in these situations, I think that it can be a very blessed time for you. And it's definitely going to lead you to new people and new experiences and even maybe new levels of like happiness and confidence. But there's definitely like more than one path opening up for you. It feels like there's more than one thing to explore and everything's worth looking into. Like, don't close yourself off to any of the options. Like, take your time to learn what you can and make the right decision. It definitely feels like you're going to have options. So like, let's say you're looking for love. It's like you're going to have options and you shouldn't just throw all your eggs in one basket. It's like they're all worth exploring. So take your time. If you're looking, if it's like career change, it's like there's more than one path ahead of you. Take your time to choose the right path for you and you alone. Like, don't choose the path for anyone else. Choose it for yourself. I strongly feel a certain person being part of your blessing this month. So whether that's like a partner or you're meeting a love interest or you're meeting someone on a new path that's like a soul tribe member, like a really, really good friend or someone that you're going to combine forces with. But there seems to be someone, like another energy coming through in the next month on some level. We will pull a couple of clarifiers and just see what else we can find out about this. In group 1, it ended up kind of like being a spoiler for the next cards because we got a repeated message. But we'll see what we can do here. So, the King of Forces, is that representative of group 2 or is this a person coming in? Let's start there. We have the Four of Roses in reverse, which is the views of the ego card. So the first message is that this is you kind of letting go of the ego and stepping into your power. And ego is not just like, you know, typical, what would you call it? Like stereotypical ego. Ego can be fear, you know, like the ego creates fear to keep us safe. So fear can end up holding us back, but it's only through the ego that fear becomes, I guess, fear, if that makes sense. I probably didn't word that very well. But yeah, the ego sees fear and gets scared, but the soul kind of like sees through it and knows that it's protected, and it sees things through the eyes of faith versus fear. So this is you letting go of any fears that have been carried through your lifetime due to like past wounds, conditioning, certain experiences that have created certain views or certain beliefs, and really stepping into your true power with faith and confidence to open up to these changes instead of staying in a comfort zone out of fear. I'm also seeing here that if there has been an ongoing wound or an ongoing struggle, an ongoing challenge, an ongoing addiction, if there's been something that's been ongoing and you haven't been able to recover from it or fully heal it, I feel like in the next month, it's a really good time to explore your options and seek professional assistance from somebody else. So like a therapist, a psychologist, a healer of some kind, a naturopath, even if it's like a health issue or something like that. Like there is alternative options for you to explore and get help, or get the help that you need. I feel like you have an opportunity to recover from something in the next month. We also have wishes fulfilled coming out. So as much as the change may be scary and it may be very daunting, these are the changes that lead to your wishes being fulfilled. So 5 is the number of change and diversity and challenges and obstacles and things like that, but then they're also the key to getting your wishes fulfilled. So I do feel like letting go of this fear is really going to have you on a very, very abundant path. And I feel like in the upcoming month is when you'll start to see some of these rewards coming through. I'm not saying that it goes from 0 to 100 like that and all your wishes are fulfilled, but you will start to see some of the positivity and the abundance come through. And it's like unlocking a new level, I guess, of like happiness and fulfillment. As you can see in this card, like some of it's lit up and then there is still a bit of darkness. So that's why I feel like it doesn't just become perfect all of a sudden, that there is still progress to be made. We're only the 5, we're not at the 10 here. So I just think that it's, you're halfway there almost. Like this is what puts you on track to a really beautiful and bright future. I don't think I feel the need to pull any more cards. This feels more like this King of Forces feels like you stepping into your power, and perhaps like a professional that's going to help you overcome or recover from something in the next month, as opposed to like a love interest. But we will have that singles message and that relationship message down below as well. So don't worry about that. We will get some info. So let's just move those up a little bit. Yeah, so your biggest blessing is really sort of just being able to step into your power, release a lot of fear, and make some big and daunting changes that put you on path to having your wishes fulfilled, and to start to see some of those rewards come through. So now we're going to move into your biggest challenge for the month ahead. So we have Yin Yang 22, Woman Holding a Coin, number 42 in reverse, and number 24, Adjacent Possibilities. So the yin yang card in the upright position is in the position of the yin side of this card. Yin is more about sort of the inactive period where we are more still, we're more receptive, and we're kind of more reflective as well. So we're kind of looking within a bit more, and we're in more of a receiving energy. This coming out with woman holding a coin in reverse makes me feel like there's something I feel like it's maybe linked to what we're getting up here with this wound that needs healing. It feels like your challenge may be going within to heal a fear or anxiety about either your income and finances, a wound relating to a feminine energy in your past that's still affecting you today and holding you back from going for these new opportunities. So there could be a specific person behind the beliefs or the fears of your ego. So there could be a wound like with like a mother, a feminine figure, even if it's a male, someone with like a more feminine energy, someone who is a little bit toxic, or someone that has affected your finances in a negative way somehow. There's definitely seems to be a person at the root of your views on money and success, and like having the confidence to go for things. It could even be like a fear of failure, a fear of not being good enough or something like that, that came from a parental figure or an older person who didn't treat you well or something along those lines. And it feels like it's created a fear of taking opportunities or taking risks that could really lead you somewhere with this adjacent possibilities card. So I feel like it's like discovering the root of what's holding you back, and then taking that opportunity. So your blessing is the opportunity, your challenge is taking it, because there's some sort of like healing that's involved in taking this opportunity. I also want to say that there's a need. This is a similar message that group 1 got, so it could be a collective energy. Virgo season is, we're currently present in that, and it could be influencing the reading for those that are watching for September. It could be about sort of making sure that you are balancing your work, home and social life properly, not giving too much to one thing and not like having enough energy for the others, making sure that your cup is full and that you're spending enough time alone so that you have the energy to explore and open yourself up to all of the pathways and opportunities that are coming your way and presenting themselves. Because like obviously if you don't have the energy to go down those paths, then you're not going to go down those paths. But equally, I think that also relates a lot to this wound or this fear. But it feels like it's, even if you feel like going into hermit mode and kind of like withdrawing, I feel like it's not the time for that. I feel like it is more of a time to be exploring connections, exploring opportunities, exploring new things, exploring new topics, learning new things. Like it's really a time of expansion. So you'd be silly not to capitalize on that and just lock yourself away. So as much as that downtime is important to reflect and heal and overcome what you need to overcome, equally it is still very important to be taking the time to socialize, connect, learn, explore. Maybe the resources to do that might be a little bit low. I'm just thinking woman holding a coin in reverse, maybe like a lack of resources to do all the things that you want to do. Maybe it's about if people are asking you to go out for food, maybe it's like, oh, look, I can't, I'm trying to save right now. What if we do this? And you present another option of something to do that doesn't cost money, or like, yeah. So it's like, don't use a lack of funds as an excuse to not put yourself out there or not connect with people and connect with situations, experiences, subjects, whatever it is that is going on for you. Yeah, don't use it as an excuse to avoid that. Come up with another option. Present another option that works for you. Yeah. All right, I think that's it for the challenge. The next cards are going to be your main advice for the upcoming month. So we have, it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio, which is literally about releasing your fears, releasing anything that's holding you back, releasing anything that's not serving you so that you can move forward. Sort of with all of that baggage released, you're going to move forward a lot more light. Might just shuffle these up a little bit again. So full moon in Scorpio, we have, oh, sorry, just knocked the camera. Are we still good? Yeah. We have full moon in Virgo, you are good enough. So if there's any fears, yeah, see, like that fear of failure or fear of not being enough for something is one of the things that you need to release. So, you know, there's a line in this card, I'm probably going to butcher it, but I think it says something about humility is good, but you could be just downright underrating yourself. So like there's a difference between being humble and being self-deprecating. So if you're one of those people that like, if someone compliments you, you like play it down, or like you counter it with something negative, or I don't know how to explain. I don't know. There's just this thing here of like you're playing yourself down way too much. Like you're really underrating yourself, and you need to let go of whatever it is that causes that. I think that you need to work on your self-love and your self-acceptance, because you are good enough, and whatever's making you feel not good enough needs to be released. And the final card is the full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. So you have 3 full moon cards. Full moons, it comes with like a very climatic, tense energy. It's like a build-up of energy, and then a climax. So I do feel like that's going to happen in the next month for you, is some sort of climax, some sort of build-up, some sort of climax, and then like a settling of energies again. So this could also relate to like the build-up around this emotional wound that you're healing. It's like a build-up, a release, and then an acceptance. It's kind of making me think of that, but then it could also be like something happening in your physical world where there's a build-up, an ending, or a change, and then a settling of energies again. So that's kind of the vibe I'm picking up here. This don't let pride get in your way card is also making me think again about that message. Like if someone asks you to do something and you can't afford it, don't be too proud to say, oh, I would love to see you. I don't have the resources for that right now, but what if we do this instead? What if you just come to my place and we'll have a coffee here? You know, like suggesting a different alternative within your means is okay. You don't need to feel too proud to do that. And you don't need to shut yourself off just because you don't have the money to keep up with someone around you or something like that. And then with these 2 cards next to each other, it's quite interesting because the full moon in Virgo card says that you should like healthy self-love is okay, and then this card says like vanity is not okay though. So it's like finding that balance between self-esteem, healthy self-esteem, and then like straight up ego or straight up vanity. A healthy self-esteem is okay. You don't need to hide that away from people or suppress it. It's okay to feel like you are good enough or feel happy about who you are. It's okay to celebrate yourself sometimes as well. Like, it doesn't make you a cocky person to be proud of yourself until you overdo it. So I guess, just again, finding that balance. Not being too, Leo is a fixed sign, so like not being too stubborn or too fixed on one certain path, and making sure you're open to these other paths, and at least exploring these other paths, like not shunning anything too quickly. But that's what I'm seeing for your advice. I also see within the full moon in Virgo card that it would be good advice to take care of your body and your mind and your soul in the next month. So like looking after your body in terms of hydration and nourishing it with a lot of green leafy vegetables and a nice alkaline diet. All that green's making me think of like a really alkaline diet, a lot of green leafy vegetables, green juices, green smoothies, things like that. But equally also prioritizing like your mental and emotional health and your spiritual health. So meditations and looking after your physical needs. Get your hair done this month. I noticed that there's like this gorgeous hair in two of these cards, and I just thought, you know what, if you can do it, if you have the resources for that, get your hair done. Treat yourself to a nice color or a cut or something. I think it will do you well. Like chopping dead ends metaphorically, and then it might help you chop dead ends, actual dead ends in your life. Maybe that's what that's to do with there. Anyway, let's move on to the most significant person of the month. So we're going to shuffle these cards on camera. We're just going to get a couple from my astrology deck, and then we'll get one card from the tarot. So who's the most significant person this month for group 2? Okay, so we have the third house out to begin with. The third house is making me think of like siblings or friends that are so close they're like your brothers or sisters, maybe even cousins. So there could be like a relative in terms of like a sibling or a cousin or a soul brother or soul sister. We got Gemini, which is the third house. So yeah, there's definitely a sibling or a cousin or a soul sibling is going to be very important in the upcoming month. They could have heavy Gemini placements or heavy planets, like a lot of planets. It could be in the third house. We did have, I don't know if you saw me flip that over on camera or not, but we do have Venus underneath, which could be a partner or a friend. Because Venus energy is about relationships and partnerships. So yeah, there could be a partner. Gemini is also a very social energy. So yeah, again, I'm definitely picking up siblings, soul brothers and sisters, partners, friends. Let's see if we can kind of get a little bit of information about the person that's significant. What was that? The Hermit. There could be a Virgo that's significant. It didn't come out, but I felt like it needed to be seen. Who is most significant in the next month for group 2? Oh, that was so weird the way they all came out. What is it? Okay, we've got the Wheel, we've got the 6 of Water, we've got the Page of Water and the 8 of Fire. The Wheel with the 6 of Water is definitely making me think that someone is returning from the past. And there's going to be like a vulnerable conversation that happens, which helps something progress. So whether this is like, if you've had a falling out with a sibling or a friend or just anyone from your past, it feels like someone's returning. There could be an apology or a vulnerable conversation that opens up further conversation and helps you progress forward. Yeah, it could be on a different level for all of you. Like for some of you, this could be like a past love interest. For some of you, this is like someone that you've had a falling out with and you haven't talked to for a little while. And then I also actually see here like your inner child being important in the next month. Making progress by healing the inner child and healing whatever went on in your childhood or in your past, and helping you kind of like open up in that heart space and make progress and kind of like move forward. So we were only supposed to get one card out for that, but the way they came out, it was like, I don't know, it was just obvious that, I don't know, I knew there was going to be a story there, and when I looked at the cards, it was very clear to me. So, yeah. So we're going to finish up your reading with the quick singles message and the quick message for those in relationships. So singles, you have number 10. They're both the Wheel. So the singles could maybe be relating to having a past love interest coming back to say sorry or have a vulnerable conversation. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get back together and reconnect, but perhaps it just helps you move forward because it gives you some sort of closure, and it helps you kind of like it's like a breakthrough type energy. So for some of you watching, that could definitely be the case, but this card is really about, it's like talking about your energy being in a real state of flow in the next month as a single in your love life. It's kind of just like flowing with everything, not trying to control anything or not setting anything in stone, keeping the wheel turning, not trying to like keep it stuck. What am I trying to say? It's again giving me that energy of not locking down any one direction or any one option and being in a state of flow and exploration, like taking your time to test the waters and get a feel for situations, get a feel for people before jumping into conclusions or getting your hopes up about any outcomes, like really just flowing and surrendering, and yeah, taking your time. But I feel like that's definitely like confirmation for singles that someone's going to apologize to you from your past. It doesn't have to be a love interest, very well could be. And then those of you in relationships, it could be someone from your past, like there's like a past friend or, whatever, or it could be inner child. Relationship message. So if you're in a relationship, you have the solar plexus chakra. Okay. So the solar plexus is making me think of our ego center. It is a fire element, the solar plexus. And it's making me think of some sort of like power struggle that may be going on this month. I think that, yeah, it's bringing me back to this card here. So for those of you in relationships, I think that maybe you need to not let your pride get in between the connection. If you're having any issues, it's you and your person versus the problem, not you versus your person. It seems like power struggles and stubborn energies may be causing some tension in your connection, but it feels as though if you can kind of like put your pride aside, and don't see the situation as something to be won rather than something to be compromised on, maybe that's your best solution. Also, just be aware that any issues that arise in the next month aren't stemming from a place of insecurity and then you're projecting that insecurity onto your partner. Because also with that "you are good enough" card, it's almost like an insecurity is causing, you know, pride or ego to be triggered, and then that's causing tension. So I feel like just make sure that it's not stemming from an insecurity. Make sure you're giving that insecurity a lot of love if that's the case, and try not to project it onto your person. It's okay to seek reassurance or just tell them how you're feeling, but you do need to try and fill that void and love that issue on your own as well. I think that's all that I'm seeing for you guys, group 2, for the month ahead. So thank you very, very much for watching. If you feel like doing so, I would really appreciate it if you could give the video a like. Feel free to let me know that you're resonating with my readings or enjoying my readings by doing that, by giving it the like. Feel free to comment if you'd like to do so, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for future uploads. But if not, regardless, thank you so much for watching this reading. I'm going to start tripping over my words now because I've just sort of disconnected from the flow and I'm back to my socially awkward self. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. If you're interested, my Instagram details are in the description box below. I post weekly horoscopes and various mini picker piles over there. And when I have the time, I'd like to post reels too, but sometimes I just don't have the time for that. So what else? Is there anything else? I think that's all that I have to say. So take care, guys, and until next time, look after yourselves, and I will talk to you again in another video soon. Bye. Hi group 3, welcome to your predictions reading for the upcoming month. Hope you guys are doing well. So just a quick recap, if you're drawn to group 3, you have selected the rose quartz crystal. And we're going to get into your predictions reading. So at the time I'm posting this, it'll either be the 31st of August or the 1st of September. And it can be for the month of September. But if you come across this at any stage, I believe it's meant for you, and we will be referring to it as the upcoming month throughout the reading so that it resonates at any stage that you find it. We're going to be breaking down the month ahead in terms of what's your biggest blessing, what's your biggest challenge, what is your main advice, who is the most significant person in the month, and then we're going to end the reading with a quick love prediction for the singles in group 3 and a quick love prediction for those in group 3 that are in relationships. So we have a lot to cover, and we're hopefully going to find out a lot of good info about your month. I have pre-pulled most of the cards. We will be shuffling for the person in your month on camera when we're really, really into the energies. But for now, we will start here. And the first thing that we're going to look into is your biggest or your main blessing for the upcoming month. So group 3, you have the Lookout in reverse, number 17. We have Archangel Raphael blessing us with his presence, number 8. And underneath the deck, you guys had the Two of Keys, or the Treasure, in the reverse position. Now, what's interesting here is that this card in reverse basically means like the worst is now behind you, and this card in the reverse is like new hope, new abundance that's about to start coming in. So these two cards kind of tells me that it's like something is like turning around. It could be your luck, or it could be like a situation where, you know, the chaos has now peaked and things start to turn into or turn towards a more positive outcome. And then with Archangel Raphael in the middle here, he has a lot to do with healing, emotional healing, physical healing, spiritual healing, perhaps even. But it feels like there's, you know, the recovery or the rejuvenation or something happening sort of internally within you that's shifting, and perhaps that's helping your luck change or your prosperity start to improve. So it feels like in the next month you're being blessed by the worst of the situations now behind you. Healing energies are coming towards you. You have a lot of sort of healing, recovery and rejuvenation going on, and a real improvement in terms of your luck, your prosperity, your abundance. So a lot of good things are starting to come your way in the next month. So I do want to get a couple more cards for this section because it's a little bit vague for me right now. But the things that are coming through to me, particularly with Archangel Raphael, is like healing a family situation. Sometimes that might be Archangel Michael in this deck, but for some reason I'm really getting family healing. So perhaps there's you're repairing a relationship in your family, or you're bringing your family back together, or something along those lines. Otherwise it could be just any sort of emotional or physical healing, even spiritual healings coming through to me. I'm just noticing a lot of sort of crown chakra glow around there. There's like a white around his crown. And then we have a bit of purple in this part here, which represents the crown chakra as well. But yeah, a lot of heart space and crown chakra rejuvenation. But yes, let me pull a couple more cards. It feels like the main blessing is like your energy will improve, and it feels like you're going to start feeling better, and you're going to have a lot more love in your heart. You're going to have a lot more hope in your heart. You're going to start experiencing a lot more joy after what seems to have been a turbulent time. And if like a lot of things have been going wrong recently, it's like things are turning around now, and more positivity is going to start to come into your life. So I would like to maybe try to find out what's group 3 recovering from collectively. It might be slightly different, but let's see what we can find out as a collective. Okay, so some of you have gone through a separation. So this card here can be like a contract in terms of like a work contract, an agreement, a loan falls through, or it can be like a marriage or a relationship commitment, so like a breakup, a separation. And it feels like with clearing the way in reverse, potentially, in this month is where maybe you progress in your emotional world, which helps you progress in your physical world. So it kind of feels like, in the upright, I would say like the path is being cleared, but in the reverse, it feels like it's been a bit blocked. So some sort of separation or ending or something that fell through, blocked your path for a while. But the worst is now behind you, and it seems like now there starts to be like some recovery, some heart healing, some rejuvenation, starting to see things in a more positive light, that sort of thing. And it feels like those blockages are starting to be lifted and starting to get removed. So what is some of the good things, or is there a collective good thing that's coming Group 3's way in the next month? What particularly is happening? We have the Two of Roses in the reverse now. Winged messages. Can I get one more? What's some of the good things coming? Up in the air in the reverse position. I'm just trying to bring this through in terms of a blessing. I'm just trying to think openly and quite broadly, because it almost feels like everything's been really up in the air. Like in this card here, we've got the birds that are up in the air. This bird's holding something like a paper, which kind of makes me think of this contract. And everything's really up in the air. There's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of uncertainty. And it feels like one of the blessings is that everything that's up in the air comes to solid ground. So there's more clarity and understanding about where you're going next, and therefore your situation can start to improve because you've got some what's the word I would use here? You've got some clarity, you've got some stability, and you kind of know what's what. So now you can progress forward, because it's really hard to know where to go when everything's still up in the air. So it's like everything comes down to solid ground, and now you can progress forward. Now you can, make plans and improve your situation is what I want to say, I think. So that's what I'm getting in terms of your blessing. I think I'm quite happy to leave that there now. But yeah, so like if you say it's like a job contract, or you've lost your job or something like that, for example, it's like everything has been really up in the air while you try to secure something new, and then you secure it, and now you can progress forward, and your luck starts to turn around, your perspective starts to improve. If you've been going through a separation with a partner, it's like everything's been really up in the air, it's been quite fresh. You've been kind of going back and forth, like, can this be healed? Is it over? Not really knowing. It's like everything comes to solid ground. Either you heal and you decide to heal together and move forward together, or you finalize the separation, have a clear understanding on what's what, and you start to progress. Okay, so these cards are to represent your biggest challenge of the upcoming month. So we have number 7, community in reverse. We have all tied up in reverse. The numbers are 7, 23, and then underneath the deck you had indecision in reverse. So interesting. This could be referring a lot to the same situation, and letting you know that your biggest blessing is also your biggest challenge this month, because community in reverse can talk about ending a friendship, ending a relationship, or feeling like you don't align with one or more people in your community anymore. All tied up in reverse is freeing yourself, breaking free, not being tied to anybody anymore. And indecision in reverse is making a final decision. So either it's relating to this, or there could be someone else in your community as well that is not really good for you, and your challenge this month is coming to the decision to not remain tied to this person and to really free yourself once and for all. So if there's like a toxic friend, or a friend that drains you, maybe the give and receive doesn't balance, or maybe you just don't align with this person anymore. It feels like the challenge here is not just sweeping that feeling under the rug. It's about doing something about that and deciding, okay, this doesn't align with me anymore. I'm going to free myself from it, and sticking to that decision. It could even be this, if this is a relationship that you're separating from, maybe it's about deciding and coming to terms with the fact that it is time to separate from this person and free yourself. Maybe it's a month where if you do enough reflection, you might see clearly that this is in your highest good, and it's about finally making that decision to cut that tie or cut that cord and find your soul tribe, or your soul mate. There could be someone else that's more aligned with you. With community in reverse, it tells me that someone or something in your community is no longer aligning with you, and you need to free yourself from it. And apparently coming to that decision and following through with that for you may be a little bit of a challenge. It could even be a workplace, a responsibility that you've taken on for your community, children community, whatever it is. There's definitely something that you need to let go or free yourself from, and you need to stick to your guns and follow through on that matter. You've got a couple of number 8s on the table, so you may be seeing 88 or 888, or you may see that following this reading at some point to kind of validate that this is your message. So be aware of that. I do see a lot of butterflies in this row too, so I do feel that the month ahead for you is a very transformative month. There could be quite a lot of change, but it is all very positive, and I feel like it's a very transformative month, and it can be a very freeing month for you if you make the right decisions and stick to your guns. Okie dokie, so I'm going to move on to your main advice for the month now, which is in our Moonology cards here. So actually I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. I'm getting a bit parched. That was more of a gulp than a sip, but nonetheless. So your advice for the month, the waning moon. What do you need to release? So yeah, we're just talking about release and freeing yourself from something physical, but there could also be some residual emotions that are lingering from this situation that's occurring. So it could be about releasing those emotions. And to clarify, release isn't about just like letting the situation go and just being like, oh, I'm over it. Release is like feeling what you need to feel, sitting with your feelings for long enough so that they have the space to kind of come up and be released healthily. So if you need to cry, it's about crying. If you've got anger, maybe it's about writing a letter or writing something in your journal to express that anger and then burning it to release it. Maybe it's a person you need to release, a friend, a job, a responsibility. There's something slowing you down or hindering you in some way that you need to release. So that card's about looking into what that is. Another release card, the full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. So that definitely clarifies that there are some negative or let's just call it residual energies or feelings within you about sort of what's been happening for you. And it's about releasing all of that. It's about not just ignoring it. It's about being vulnerable and allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel in order to heal what you need to heal. So there's definitely a lot of release happening in the month ahead in general, but this is all basically clearing the way for bigger and better and brighter things to come your way, things that are more aligned with you, things that deserve you and things that you deserve. And I think that even though it may be hard to appreciate that sentiment, there is a good reason for everything, and you will eventually understand that reason. There may also be some fear with all this change happening. So I feel like, it's okay to acknowledge that you're scared, but then try not to sit with it. Try to breathe through it, reassure yourself, nurture yourself through the fears, say affirmations to yourself, try to consider the best case scenario versus the worst one, and try to remember that everything is happening for your highest good. Your last card is You Are Good Enough, the full moon in Virgo. Yeah, so everything that's happening is not happening because you're not good enough. Everything's happening because you are worth more and there are better things for you to come. So with everything that's going on, I guess it would be easy to say like maybe, all of this is happening because I'm not good enough for this person or this job, or I'm not this or I'm not that. But if you look at it from a different perspective, the universe is saying you're actually worth a whole lot more than where you are right now. So we need to clear all this out the way to bring through all of the prosperity and abundance that's actually available to you, because you are good enough. In fact, you're actually better than good enough, and what you're getting right now is not good enough for you. I feel like this card's reminding you to do a lot of self-love and self-care rituals in the upcoming month. I'm getting flower baths or floral baths. So if you, can get, if you know a reputable supplier where you can get bath mixes. So some people sell like different mixes of flower petals and different herbs and things like that for different reasons, and maybe you could use like a self-love flower bath or even essential oils, but it feels like a lot of self-love in the next month will be very good for you. Also getting a lot of time in nature to keep yourself grounded throughout all this change. This is very green here, and I also note that there's a lot of like greenery in your cards too. So getting a lot of nature is going to help you keep nice and grounded, help you feel nice and safe throughout the shifts and the transformations that are coming in. And yeah, actually looking at these two cards, it's kind of bringing me back to that message of like, you could either look at this in a negative way and let this turn you sour and cold and a bit like a scorpion, like ready to attack if you need to. You could let it turn you into a negative person, or you could choose to view this from a higher perspective and say, there's more out there for me, something more aligned, because I'm worth more. And you can still decide to move forward in a loving, gentle way, both loving yourself and loving others, or you could let it turn you cold and defensive and sort of like on the attack or ready to attack at any time. I also feel like you may be struggling to get a good night's sleep throughout the month. So something that I know helps me sleep is Rescue Remedy, which I recently got a new bottle and it was called something different, because either the supplier who did Rescue Remedies stopped doing it or some other reason, and it was called like calm something, but it's based on the batch formula, or I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, BACH, but that's in Australia, by the way. I don't know if they have that all around the world, but putting some drops in your water to keep you calm might help. Heart chakra frequencies. Green is the color of the heart chakra, so heart chakra frequencies while you're resting and sleeping is going to help your heart space kind of like heal and rest. I think that's all I'm getting, so we will move on now. We're moving through this group quite quickly, actually. That's okay. We'll keep moving along. So now we're going to look at your main person of the month. So we're going to start with the astrology cards and see what we can find out here. And then we'll go to a tarot deck and we'll pull a card for extra clarification. So for group 3, who is the most significant person in the month ahead for group 3? Did any of those flip? No. Wow, that was intense. 9th house energy, Sagittarius, fiery energy. No wonder it came out with such force. Okay, so 9th house. This is definitely affirming to me like a change in your luck. This is very lucky, optimistic, positive energy coming through with this 9th house. But in terms of a person, this could be someone in the month that you're growing with or expanding with, or someone who seems to impact your good fortune in some way. It could be someone that you maybe go on a trip with, or someone that you maybe someone that you do something a little bit spontaneous with. It could also be representing someone who has a lot of planets in their 9th house in their birth chart. Who's most significant in group 3's a month ahead? And we have Leo and the 4th house. So because they came out together, they could have Leo in the 4th house in their birth chart, or they could even have Leo in the 9th house. But Leo seems to be a strong sign for this group across the whole chart, I would say. But Leo and 9th house is kind of similar in terms of like lucky, fiery, optimistic energy, very playful. And then Cancer, 4th house is related to Cancer, but it's also related to like the home, children, family. So if you have children, I think your children are going to be very important. You may even travel with your children or go on a bit of a trip. It will be somewhere where it's really nice weather, it seems, with all of this fiery energy over here. It could also be somewhere near water. So it could be like a sunny beach, or a sunny outdoor time near like a river or lake or something like that. Kids are coming through strongly now that I have all those cards out, but otherwise family, and maybe even like the self. Maybe you'll be spending a bit of time at home alone even. Let me get a tarot card to see if we can clarify that any further. But in terms of signs, we have Leo, Sag, and Cancer on the table. Okay, is there anything else that you can tell us about the most significant person for the month ahead for group 3, please? Okay, we have a couple of cards that wanted to come out here. So we have the Queen of Earth, gracious, practical, capable. And we also have the Justice card coming out. Queen of Earth is Virgo energy to me. Justice is Libra, so Virgo and Libra is here. This is making me think of like a business partner, someone connected to your material world. Justice is kind of making me think of a balanced partnership. So maybe there's a balanced partnership going on in the month ahead. It feels like this is like two equals, two people that have similar energies, similar priorities, similar values, kind of like combining forces here. But it seems to be part of your truth. So if that's resonating with you, this is definitely a clear sign that it's going to bring abundance and it's going to bring a lot of good karma. And it's a very equal and well-matched partnership. It feels like business to me. It doesn't feel like romantic. It feels like business, but take it as it resonates. But I feel like there's a lot of like angelic assistance or support on this endeavor. I also want to say, if you're going through a separation, that a lawyer could be significant in the month ahead. All right, so I'm going to leave that part now, and I'm going to go into the singles and the couples relationship prediction. So the love prediction for singles, the quick love prediction, we have number 7, daydreams and decisions. So this card is all about kind of, it kind of makes me think of a card in my Moonology deck where it's about being in a super romantic state but not a super realistic state. So I feel like the first thing you need to do is like indulge your daydreams and your fantasies and see where they take you. Have fun with it to kind of figure out what you want, but then don't stay up in the clouds in this make-believe world. Bring what you want down to earth and then act upon it or do something in accordance with it. Make a plan. I don't know, put yourself out there. Or maybe you realize through those daydreams that that is not even what you want. And then you realize that the options that are around you, you actually don't want those options. You just want to stick to yourself and have some time to yourself. But there's this energy here of allowing your daydreams to take you away, I guess, in a way to figure out what it is you desire. So basically watch your mind, watch where your mind goes when it's wandering. It feels like your fantasies or your imagination, is trying to tell you something or lead you somewhere. And then by bringing that idea down to reality or that clarity down to reality, you can act upon it from there. It is also a card to say that you have a lot of options around you that you may not be seeing. So I think that if you're someone that has been single for a while and you feel like there's not really any options there, I feel like this is saying, well, actually, if you look deeper, you actually do have options, but maybe you've been closed off to them or you haven't noticed them, or you're just disconnected or detached or something. So I feel like it's okay to let your head go off into the clouds, but then don't stay there. Come back down to earth and come back down to earth knowing exactly what it is you want and then act accordingly. And yeah, I do feel like if you're single, it's like there are options, but nothing's really catching your eye or pulling you in at this stage. But there could be more that you could do to find other options as well. So if dating is what you want to do, then you can do something to start dating to find that option. But yeah, either way. All right, so now the relationship message. We have number 12, observe. Okay, so the observe card is kind of about being less of an active participant and being more of the observer. Kind of like letting go of control, letting go of needing to direct the relationship and to just sort of go with the flow, go with the course of events, surrender to the experience, and sort of just, release control. So maybe one of the things, if you're in a relationship, that you need to release is that need to control or need to know in the relationship. It feels like there is new understanding and new growth to come from actually just sort of stepping back and waiting while, I guess, observing and just sort of making notes along the way, if that makes sense. It feels like the progress may be a little bit slow in the next month, and that's why the patience is important. But, everything happens at the right time, and it feels like, when the time and energies are right, it will happen. But maybe in the meantime, it's about gaining new perspectives on your relationship. How can you look differently at it? How can you think differently about it? Can you look through the eyes of a stranger? Look at your relationship, through the eyes of a stranger and make objective notes, like what insights might that stranger offer you? It's kind of just like, zooming out and trying to look at things from a different perspective. I think that's what's going to bring you a lot of transformation and positive growth in your relationship. Whew, okay, I feel like I have been talking for days. So we ended up actually making a good time. We got the same as the other groups in the end, so we made up for that for sure. But group 3, that's all I have for you today. I'm so happy that you've watched this. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you feel like doing so, commenting, letting me know if this is resonating with you. But that's all from me for now. If you're interested, my Instagram details are below. You can find weekly horoscopes and other various pick-a-pole minis over there. That's also where you can book in for private readings with me when they're open. I think I have a couple left for this month, being September at the time I'm filming, September 2022. I think I have a couple of spots left for this month. But yeah, thank you again for watching. Until next time, guys, stay safe, and I can't wait to connect with you again soon. Bye.